Good evening, everyone, commissioners and visitors. My name is Peter Simpkins. I'm the chair of Measure J, and I want to welcome everyone tonight. Seems to be an echo, but Vice Chair Davis is not feeling well. She is not present. And so I want to begin the meeting by announcing we are going to be doing some votes tonight, and we're going to be voting on the applications that the majority of commissioners have recommended that we not fund. And as a result, we may or may not need to have the votes of alternate commissioners. And so under the Brown Act, I would like to appoint, at least for the votes tonight, both alternate Commissioner Newby and alternate Commissioner Kravitz as voting members if necessary as we get to the vote later tonight. So with that, let me call the meeting to order, and Melissa, can you take the roll, please?
Yeah. Commissioner Cabreros,
Present.
Commissioner Fedor, Commissioner Isaac,
Present.
Commissioner Schoen,
Present.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Present.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Present.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Present.
Commissioner Kravitz,
Present.
Commissioner Newby,
Here.
Vice Chair Davis, Chair Simpkins.
Present. One other announcement, and that is that we are going to be doing some votes tonight, particularly on the projects that the majority of commissioners have decided that they do not wish to fund. And as a result, any of the commissioners who have recused themselves from any of the applications that we're going to be considering tonight need to announce in advance that they are recusing themselves. I believe that only one commissioner has voted, and that's Commissioner Isaac. So on that, you are going to recuse yourself, and when that vote comes up, we're asking you to leave the room.
Yes, I'll be recusing on project 41.
Thank you. All right, with that, let's do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just put that wrong.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Please, somebody. Thank you, Linda. So,
I shall move.
thank you. Any opposed? If not, I deem that the agenda has been approved. The minutes of the meeting of December 19th seems like it was a long time ago. This is a special meeting. For a variety of reasons, we did postpone the meeting was scheduled for the middle of January. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 19th meeting? Somebody.
So moved.
Thank you, appreciate it. Commissioner Hopkins. Without a negative vote, I'm going to deem that those are approved as well. All right, the next item on the agenda is public comments. Secretary Sanchez, can we have people who are willing or want to speak this evening?
We do.
All right, and again, I will advise everyone that public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. And Melissa is an excellent timekeeper and will cut you off. If you want to. All right, next one.
Let's see. Our first speaker of the night is Chris Reed. Oh, right away.
Okay. This table. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening. I'm Chris Reed. I'm the chair of 1PS, and we're very happy to support you in the last campaign, and thank you very much for continuing all the good works that you do. I'm here to speak about our item 16, which concerns the blade signs. It was brought to my attention that it was somewhat confusing, and so I'm here to answer questions or to further illustrate the proposal. It's really in two parts. That's partially because the sign fabricator said that there was an economy of scale if we were to bundle the projects rather than just split them up. I'm here to inform you of what the split looks like, and I did give Melissa some breakout you may have by now, I hope. So to clarify, there's the intersection traffic light piece of it, which has been of great interest. That's only 180 signs totaling around $19,700. The labor has to be performed by a third-party electrician. That's the city's requirement. It's involving electrical poles. So that remains at around 24,800 for a total of 44,600. The additional portion was that neighborhoods are saying that they either do not have blade signs or they're fading in the sun. Some do, some don't. And so to be fair, we've incorporated that for a total of 520 signs, as there are 52 neighborhoods. So that's a much larger number at 55,800. The labor is performed by the city, so there was no additional cost for that. So we're looking at essentially two parts of one, 44,600 and 55,800. And the original proposal incorporated all of that, and it was north of 100,000. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that, since there seemed to be some confusion in that bundling. With that, I can answer questions.
We can ask questions during public comment.
All right, well then, very well. Then thank you for your time.
Thank you. Speaker is Earl Kirkland.
Hello, everyone. Please pardon me. My voice is a little bit hoarse from yelling at the G-Force workouts this morning. I just think that the space for a dedicated space for the G-Force workouts is completely important to me and many other members of the community. A lot of us suffer from ailments like back pain, including me. NSAIDs, narcotics didn't do a thing for me when I started attending the G-Force workouts, and I've been there for about 3.5 months now. My back pain is completely manageable now. Besides that, it's a great community of people that love to work out in the morning, and they go out and be ambassadors for the city of Palm Springs and Cathedral City. I personally live in Cathedral City, but I'm very passionate about this project. I hope you will give it favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Next public speaker, please.
Monica Plains.
Hello. I'm Monica Planes, and we retired from San Francisco, my husband and I, 10 years ago. As retirees, sudden retirees with nothing to do, really, we felt isolated, new community. There was no way to really access, even if we put ourselves out there. Saw this fun group in the park, started joining in. Very difficult in the beginning. We've kept on going because of the energy of the group, and I would say compassion. Just to put it shortly, I collapsed. I had an issue, and they were all taking care of me. I never forgot that. I had total global amnesia. And I said, oh, I'm getting old. I have to retire as a public school teacher. And I said, oh, time to retire. I have aches and pains. Pretty much our life was going to the doctors, and doctors here are amazing. But joining G-Force, I don't have to go to a chiropractor. I am so serious. And there's even one step that I exaggerate because I'm just so thankful of my life in G-Force, because I don't have to take painkillers, no more chiropractor meetings, and I'm a star at stretching my arms. So, and you know, that's all I talk about. I travel Panama, New York, wherever. I'm trying to join G-Force. We're online. Come on, it's good for you. So I'm here to advocate for our dedicated space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Bean,
Hi, my name is Nancy, and I'm gonna read this because I didn't want to miss anything. The class is too working, so. And classes, my name is Nancy Bean, and I'm a very avid fan and follower of G-Force workout in Ruth Hardy Park. The class meets consistently Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. During the 5 years of my involvement, we have stretched, jumped, and used weights on the basketball court, the parking lot, and the grass. Whatever the surface, each provided welcome fresh air and spectacular views that I also often refer to as the best wallpaper around. Each surface has its pitfalls too. Too hard, too wet, too slippery, too many fire ants, and one never knows where one of the countless dogs may have chosen to relieve themselves. Though the parking lot, basketball court, and grass are not ideal, we G-Forcers made them work because we are determined, dedicated, and resilient. With this said, each and every one of us would greatly appreciate a designated surface that is more safe and consistent for our early AM gatherings of endorphin-producing exercises. A bit of history. Years ago, my life pivoted into a series of demanding caregiving roles that were often chaotic. Didn't expect this, sorry. Leaving me spent and exhausted. My morning workouts had been pushed aside. While visiting my local chiropractor, I shared how important it was that I build the morning workout back into my life. He turned lucky me on the G-Force workout crew. The class creator was Ted Geis, hence the name G-Force workout. The first few weeks, my weights consisted of 2 cans of Trader Joe's corn because I didn't own the real deal. Those 2 cans of corn helped me build some muscle and inspired another comrade to initiate a food drive. And we all brought consumables. Well, in the desert, I'm sure you're all familiar with that, a local nonprofit had to arrange for a second van because the volume of goods was much more than expected. Fast forward, nearly 2 years ago, Ted passed the class to our new fearless leader and instructor, Michael Koth. Michael's enthusiasm, energy, and dedication to our health and well-being is absolutely admirable. He generously shares his vast level of knowledge and expertise with all of us in the welcoming environment that he and Ted cultivated. Michael has continued inspiring the masses to get fit. The group is the epitome of diverse, inclusive, and supportive. Residents and visitors alike enjoy the workouts. There is a tremendous amount of sharing and caring that goes on. I have witnessed a good number of attendees change their shape, their size, and their health due to Michael's guidance and support, as well as their own commitment and determination. You're all invited and you'll be feeling better, I promise, even if you just watch.
Thank you, Karen.
Kim Shuffler,
That's good. Perfect. Let me pass these out if I might. I'm Tim Scheffler. I'm on the one Olaf Thomas. I am on one PS's board as vice chairman, but I'm on the board of Olaf Thomas's organization and also on a beautification committee. And what we were asking for Measure J to help fund is beautification of 8 parcels within Olaf Thomas that are city owned. Some of them are small, some of them are quite large. And let me, if I might just kind of go through quickly, the map is on the page 3. You can see where these are located. Chino Road is a 4 block long road that has a median in the middle with palm trees and some firecrackers that the neighborhood put in, but it's still kind of a barren kind of it needs a lot of TLC. And that's place 1. Place 2, and I should mention that each location has some photographs and a little bit of the size of the plot, as well as the what's needed currently. Location 2 is Mountain View Place. It's a 2 block long piece of
that's 10 feet wide. And you can see the square footage. Here again, there's some plants, but all of them are kind of they're tired, they're stressed. We do have a watering system, which is inefficient from a standpoint of it's a spray rather than a soak. And we want to improve the sustainability by adding some soaking watering there as well. The two other larger pieces is if you know the coming out from where Denny's is and where the LGBT center building is, they're large triangles on Via Las Palmas. These are kind of two show pieces, but they quite honestly have not been really addressed in the last couple of years. The last couple of years being at least 10 years, and we really need new plants. A lot of the plants die this summer, and also we would like to reconfigure the boundary around it. So there's kind of a lot of work to be done in those two places. The next four are smaller kind of traffic triangles. I don't want to go through each one of them, but you can see each one of the locations. We have a couple have trees that are really overgrown and need some pruning. How am I doing with time?
20 seconds.
20 seconds, okay. So it goes by quickly, believe me. In the back there, you have a budget. We want a consultant to come in and help us buy new plants that are sustainable, and also ultimately gravel, cactus, some eucalyptus, tree trimming. It's all included. But we also got a bid on the gravel that would be included. So that's what we're looking for. And thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you. Ron Davies.
Thanks, Melissa. Vaughan Davies, I'm with the Tuckworth Creek Yacht Club. We are the folks who clean up the creek every month, and I'm here to urge you for your support for item number 37, which is the implementation of the Tuckworth Creek Master Plan project. First, I want to thank you all for the great work that you do and the interest in beautifying and keeping up with Lubbock Palm Springs community what it is today, making it a better place. A little bit of history about who we are. The Tuckworth Creek Yacht Club was formed over 19 years ago in 2006 by a group of neighborhood councils, Tuckworth Creek Estates Neighborhood, Deepwell, Historic, Tennis Club, and Warm Sands neighborhoods. Our mission was really simple, was to help keep Tuckworth Creek the special place it is in our community for the people and the wildflowers. It's important for me to mention this because today we still have the support and participation of all those neighborhood councils and the membership of those communities. And we do our regular monthly cleanups at the creek. In 2010, the city developed a master plan, which I hope you've all had an opportunity to look at. It was linked in, hyperlinked in our proposal, and it was approved unanimously. The purpose of it was to create a rich and varied recreational experience for residents and visitors while enhancing the beauty of the function of the creek. Little has been done to fulfill the goals and objectives of that master plan. So that's why we're here today. However, Tuckworth Creek Yacht Club has continued to work with the city and the county on maintenance and safety issues around the creek. And we offer our opportunity for numerous community organizations like the Scouts, Gays for Good, and others to volunteer the services for the community. Together, we have pulled out over 100,000 pounds of trash, car parts, mattresses, stoves, microwaves, syringes, and enough polystyrene probably to float a ship down the creek. On day one, 19 years ago, we pulled out we pulled out 14 tons of trash in what was then a trash that's basically in Palm Springs. So today we're here to ask you for your support. We hope it is unanimous to help us implement the next phase of the master plan. We met as a community in early 2024, to develop what we call the demonstration project. It's also illustrated in what we submitted to you. It was merely an opportunity to share ideas about how we would implement the landscape, create a beautiful alley of trees, a continuous canopy, etc. And also to get a cost estimate, which we shared with you in our proposal. The cost estimate was for us to extrapolate the dollars that we would require for the first phase of this effort. So I hope it's fairly thorough. Additionally, we've met with the city sustainability group to talk to them about our plan and their goals and objectives. And we believe this really does fulfill one of the prime objectives of the sustainability group in the city, which is to mitigate extreme heat in the city during our summer months. So it's with that in mind, I'd love you to support us and the community in providing this great amenity for the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Jonathan Yorba.
Good evening, Chair Sipkins, Commissioners, city officials, and members of the public. I'm Jonathan Lorenzo Yorba. I'm the Senior Grants Manager at the center. Prior, I held positions with the city of Sacramento and the city of Riverside, and I oversaw kind of the grants process that you're going through. So I commend you and I thank you for that because it's a lot of work. If the center is fortunate to get Measure J funding for project number 33, we'll be able to shift the dollars that we would have spent on that project to direct services. So annually, we feed almost 13,000 individuals weekly with free food. We have a behavioral health clinic. We serve seniors, we serve youth, we serve kids. And overall, we serve more than 60,000 residents of Palm Springs. And that's what we would be able to do with being relieved of having to raise funding for the solar project. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Barris. No, we have one more for this.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Katie Barrows. I'm a member of the board of the Oversight Land Trust, and I appreciate the chance to speak with you this evening again. And certainly appreciate the great work that you all do on behalf of the community. I live in actually the city of La Quinta, but I spend a lot of time in Palm Springs enjoying the beautiful natural areas you have. And it's amazing and wonderful that a program like Measure J gives you so many ways to benefit the community. I just wanted to highlight a couple of the things that our proposal for a urban forest at the Prescott Preserve, some of the highlights of things that this project offers that differ from those other projects that have been submitted. We really appreciate the opportunity. I do want to note that the Prescott Preserve, which Oversight Land Trust acquired a couple of years ago, is about 120 acres surrounded by residential properties. It is our intent is an urban preserve. Already in recent past, we've had approximately 100,000 visitors who visit the preserve. It's become a very popular place for walking, bicycling, dog walking. From residents and visitors, it's conveniently located to hotels and vacation rentals. So it's a really important aspect from the standpoint of Palm Springs' reputation as a place for ecotourism and enjoying nature. And I think the highlight of this proposal, many of the projects that you are looking at funding provide important infrastructure and hardscapes and things like that. And this project really offers a slightly different angle with an urban forest tree planting, bringing in native shrubs. And that project is really focused, as I say, on providing shade and a place for people who are already walking to enjoy nature, but also many other aspects of that. I think it is complementary to Palm Springs' efforts to develop a blue zone program. Being out in nature, studies have found that exposure to nature in cities has many benefits on hormone levels and heart rate and various health and wellness aspects. So that's a very strong aspect. We anticipate, if funded, that we would be partnering with the Living Desert and making this not just an area for wellness and exercise, but also an educational opportunity where people can see examples of native trees that are climate resilient, that would pollinating plants. Pollinators are responsible for 85% of the crops that we depend on for food. And that would be an educational program with signage and information about those benefits on water efficiency, climate resilience, and so on. We also have gotten support from the Sustainability Commission. I believe you saw their letter of support. And another aspect is the heat, as we see our longer days, hotter summers, the heat island effect. Having more shade trees and vegetation is a very important way to combat some of those effects of climate change. So we really appreciate this opportunity and encourage your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have Chris Soto online. Chris, can you hear us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Your
great.
time starts.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to make public comment over the phone this way. If I could be there in person, I certainly would. My name is Christine Soto. I am calling in to support project number 50, the mural project by Nihon Mural Project, to celebrate our Filipino population here in Palm Springs. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Palm Springs. My great-grandfather, who was Filipino, moved to Palm Springs in the mid-century and had a catering business and restaurant. And my family's lived there for generations. I say that as an example of the many, many families who have similar stories to mine and that continue to create new stories and move to the valley and be a part of the vibrant culture there. I believe you have all the materials about the scope of the project and who's involved and what we're trying to do. So I'd like to simply ask, as part of your vetting process, I request that you reflect on the significance of supporting a project like this that is born from Filipino folks who live in the desert. This is, their brainchild, our brainchild, and directly from their hearts and minds. And that it would be a proactive way to recognize the AAPI, the Filipino community in Palm Springs, which is very often ignored and important. So thank you for your time and have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you for your comment. Are there other public comments? Melissa?
We do. We have Gary Good.
Thanks for taking your time to listen to us. I wanted to talk about G-Force as well. I guess I will echo what everybody else has said. So, it is a great health benefit to everybody. It's available to everybody. It's not it's free of charge. And it's a wonderful benefit to anybody who lives in or visits Palm Springs. It's terrific. I think recently I was listening to Dan Buettner give a talk down in Indian Wells, and he was talking about the blue zone type approach that communities are taking. And I believe Palm Springs might be one of those communities that is considering that. And I think having something like the G-Force, where it is a natural part of the community that is just something that can be taken in daily without any extracurricular activities, no scheduling or anything else, just walk in, get an hour's worth of exercise. And I guess it would be a fabulous asset to the community if you are considering the blue zone approach. I've just really, I guess we moved from Rancho Mirage to Palm Springs about 15 years ago because we wanted a more walkable community. And Palm Springs offers that. I mean, we can walk to restaurants, we can walk to cultural events. It's terrific. And to get something like G-Force that you can also walk to as part of it is a bonus, and it really adds even more to the community and makes the move here even more meaningful. So anyways, thank you for your time, and please consider the benefits of a program like G-Force. in a permanent state. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our public speakers of the night.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you all for coming for your public comments this evening. Tonight is, the first night where we're really taking action, I think, on the 52 applications that this commission has received. So I'm gonna make a few comments and, those of you who are gonna wait around, I think will hear what our recommendations are for the projects that we do not think this commission should fund, as well as those projects which the commission believes that we should recommend funding. Although we will not be voting on the latter tonight, we will be voting on those applications which the majority of commissioners have voted that they do not wish to consider funding. So let me first begin by thanking the public generally, those of you who are here tonight. And over the 102 members of the public who have submitted letters in the last week or two in favor of various projects. They were passionate, they were intelligent, they were articulate. It showed the depth of how strongly people feel about supporting different projects and applications here in the city of Palm Springs. I know I read all 102 letters. I believe many of the commissioners did as well. So it was interesting and hard work. I want to thank staff. Melissa has done a yeoman's job of trying to gather all this information together. And she's done this remarkable job as staff. So thank you, Melissa. One of the things that we did that I'm not sure that past Measure J commissions did was we sought input from other commissions of the city of Palm Springs. We received information and ranking from the Public Arts Commission. We received ranking from the Parks and Recreations Commission, and we received rankings from sustainability. I believe some commissioners felt that it was important to consider what those other commissions recommended and did not recommend, since they tended to have more expertise in the subject matters than those of us on this commission who are generalists and welcome the input from other communities. To my fellow commissioners, thank you all for devoting as much time and energy. It has been a tremendous amount of work. All of us started off months ago looking at all 52 applications and then deciding which ones we thought we would like to have more information and support on. And so I think we sent letters to 37 of the 52 applicants and asked for further follow-up information. Many did provide that information. Following that, the commissioners then received, as well as all the backup information, an online ability to recommend either funding projects, not funding projects, or considering the projects later if sufficient funding was available. So the commissioners put all 52 projects, all applications into one of three categories. And we now have the vote totals for those. I want to remind everybody in the room, as well as the public and the commissioners, that all we do is make recommendations. We do not fund a project. We don't deny funding the projects. The city council has ultimate authority. And at some point this spring, we will be meeting as a commission with the city council. They will be listening to our recommendations and they can accept them, they can reject them, they can add to them, they can do whatever they want to do. They're the final authority. We are not. We simply make recommendations. So let me go through tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all the 52 applications in the spreadsheet that Melissa has put together. And we're going to talk about as first item on the agenda, 8A, is reviewing the votes. And I think what I'm going to do is beginning.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I think I'm in a little trouble here. With the Toppers Creek, I am on the Dino board, and I know we have supported the Toppers Creek project. not financial, but simply because it's within the neighborhood. Should I recuse myself?
No, if you ever, I don't think you need to recuse yourself unless you have a financial interest in the project that you do
Not
not.
that I know of.
And you would not.
Sorry.
But thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Clerk.
Yeah, no.
All right, so with that background, let me announce that this commission has recommended as a commission and voted to recommend not funding 19 of the 52 applications and to recommend funding 14 of the 52 applications, leaving, my math is right, 23 23 projects to be considered in the future if there's sufficient funding available. So if you all turn to the tab in your books, in your notebooks, you will see we're going to 8A is to review those. Then let me just read off, since I've taken the time to go through and look at the tabulation of votes. First, I don't know if we've appointed the alternate commissioners for tonight. Have I done that yet? I don't think so. Have I done that already?
Yes, we did.
All right, I lost track of what I've done, so. If we are going to vote on the do not funds tonight, which I hope we can do, then any commissioner that needed to recuse himself or herself will have to leave the room, and the alternates will be able to vote if we need their vote to get to a majority of the commission. All right, so let me read off the ones that we are going to be recommending that we do not fund. Project or application number 1, Little Tuscany Sewer. Project number 2, Jim Gross Memorial Sidewalk. Project number 4, sidewalk construction. Project number 7, four-way stop at Chihuahua, Aristo, and Chihuahua Arenas. Project number.
Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah.
Only.
Oh, Korea, all right. Thank you for correcting me. Project number 8, Sunny Dunes Community Enhancement. Project number 11, Vista Las Palmas Neighborhood Monument Signs. Project number 18, Moving Forever Maryland. Project 25, Camino del Road, HOA. Project application 26, Urban Funds of UFO Palm Springs. Project 29, Racket Club Underground in the Racket Club Estates neighborhood. Project number 30, Sunrise Park Branding Signage Program and Perimeter Landscaping. Project 32, Desert Arch Shredding and Recycling Program. Project 34, Ramon Road Sidewalk Extension. Application 35, Old Las Palmas Utility Undergrounding. Application 38, Palm Springs Theater Ticket Booth. Project 41, Canyon Estates Street Resurfacing. Project 44, excuse me, Measure J at Work, dollars and zero harmful pollution. Project 49, revitalization of public spaces in Old Las Palmas. And Project 51, cultural exploration. The projects that we are not going to vote on tonight, hopefully we can at the meeting on February 20th, are the projects that the majority of commissioners recommend funding. And again, the recommended funding has nothing to do with the total funding. That is an issue that we will talk about again at the February meeting. We may add to or subtract from the amount of money that is requested in those funding requests. The 14 projects that the commissioners have decided through a majority to support and recommend funding are project number 5, solar installation at the Palm Springs Women's Club. Project application 6, Cerritos Park field LED upgrade. Application 9, excuse me, DAC attic insulation and installation. Project 10, DAC new trees installation. Project 12, free little libraries and movie colony east. Project 14, G-Force Virtual Health and Wellness. Project 19, Boys and Girls Club of Palm Springs, repair of exterior block wall. Project 20, Mizell Center, solar canopies, clean energy. Project 22, Palm Springs Stadium deferred maintenance. Project 24, Palm Springs Art Museum, elevator replacement. Project or application 27, the Eisenhower Palm Springs Cancer Infusion Center. Application 28, the Richard Center for the Arts. Application 31, dog play areas, shade structure installation at the Palm Springs Animal Shelter. Project 33, the center, solar shade structure and rainbow bike racks. Project 37, Tompkins Creek Trail Master Plan. Project 40, access improvements at the James O. Jesse Community Center. Project 42, security system at the Kansas Stevens School. And finally, Project 52, Barista Park improvements. Those are the 14 applications that we will consider voting on at the meeting in February. So with that, let's move on to discussion and roll call vote on, let's start at 8 p.m. the agenda of the 19 applications that we have initially, majority of us had decided that we would recommend not funding. And to make this easy, I'm going to make a motion with respect to every one of those 19 without regard to how I personally voted. So that we don't have to go around the room and ask somebody who voted to deny it to the funding to raise their hands. So I will simply make the motion. So the first one that the majority recommended not to fund is application number 1, Little Tuscany Sewer. I will move that the commission do a roll call vote and vote to recommend not to fund Little Tuscany Sewers application. Do any commissioners have anything to say with respect to that particular project? If not, or else, we'll listen to a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cabreros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not fund.
Reading to Kravitz. What's it gonna be Kravitz?
We have a majority already voting in regular commissioners.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay, then we don't need a vote from the alternates.
Yeah.
All right, I will make a motion with respect to the Jim Gross Memorial Sidewalk, which is application number 2, that we recommend do not fund application number 2. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to application number 2?
I have a question. If I'm not misremembering, I believe the applicant actually came and made public comments in front of the commission about this project even before they submitted it. So I do really, and I see the need there. And my understanding is that there is, at least the reason that I voted not to fund this is because there's just so many issues with jurisdiction that most of this is Caltrans. Is there any way that we can direct the applicant? I don't mean like actually doing staff work, but just in this conversation, is there someone else with Caltrans that they could then appeal to about this sidewalk?
Joel, do you want to respond?
Sure, I think they can appeal directly to Caltrans. There is a website, the website does allow for public requests, so they go directly to Caltrans. Yes.
Thank you.
Do any other commissioners have any comments with respect to application number 2? If not, we do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cabreros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not fund. The next application to consider is application 4. And for the record, application 3, which I believe was the Kitty Cafe, I believe, withdrew her application. Application number 4 is sidewalk construction. People have any comments, any commissioners have any comments with respect to application number 4? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cabreros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not.
Melissa, I think you missed me.
Melissa, you missed Commissioner Hopkins.
oh, Commissioner Hopkins.
The next application to consider that the majority already suggested that we should not fund is application number 7, and I'm not going to read it for fear of mispronouncing the names again. It is the 4-way stop, and any commissioners have any comments with respect to application number 7? If not, we do a roll call.
Commissioner Cabreros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor, Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not fire. The next application on the list, there were the majority of commissioners recommended do not fund was the Sunny Dunes Community Enhancement application number 8. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that particular application? If not,
If I may, I just wanted to clarify just again for the public, I think. In the future, we might wanna do a little more extensive outreach about what it is that we are funding. We do see some really wonderful ideas and really wonderful organizations that are very, very worthy of funding. But they aren't capital projects and they just really don't fit the bill. And I think and I just want to say that this fits under that I think that, and appreciate again that they came to make public comment. They're doing really wonderful work. But I would, encourage in the future, anyone applying to really get in and do that research about what Measure J does and does not fund, and even reach out to a commissioner or city staff if you're unclear.
I would agree with that. I thought it was Sunny Dunes Road is in my neighborhood. And that's, I visited. And it was not a building in my neighborhood. And so it was a little bit difficult to figure out what they're doing, what they wanted. And I agree with what she said. It is a recovery program and it's an excellent program. And they do good work, but you're absolutely right. It doesn't fit what we're doing.
right, you're right. There are very strict limits as to what Measure J can fund under the city ordinance. And I believe that we are not able to fund, for example, services as an example. They must be capital improvements. It's okay, is that correct? Chris is going to correct me.
Yes, Chair Sipkins, the ordinance for Measure J is a general sales tax, so it can be used to fund anything that the commission would approve to fund. However, historically, it has been this commission that has chosen to mainly fund infrastructure. And so I think that's where this prior commissions have headed, and I think this is where this commission is heading as well.
Thank you for the correction, and I think that the public should also know that there are certain things that the city of Palm Springs handles systematically. For example, repair of roads or placement of stop signs, four-way stop signs at intersections, which Joel's group takes care of, and that I think as a commission, we've decided that if in fact there are mechanisms for getting funding for that, or to have the city make those improvements, that that's something that ought to be done through Joel's department and not through this commission. So that's why a number of the projects I think received do not fund recommendations on things that did have merit, as Commissioner Wolford suggested. All right, so the next item, have we voted on Sunny Mills? Not yet. We'll take a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cabarros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Federer, Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not. The next item is item number application number 11, Vista Las Palmas Neighborhood Monument Signs. Any commissioners have comments with respect to that application? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call vote for that?
Commissioner Cabarros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Federer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next application to act on is application 18, the Moving Forever Maryland application submitted by the Palm Place Resort people. Do any of the commissioners have comments with respect to moving Maryland? If not, let's do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cabarros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Federer, Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next application for us to consider is application 25 from Camino del Sol HOA. Do any of the commissioners have comments with respect to application 25? If not, we can roll call.
Commissioner Cabarros,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Federer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac, Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not. Next application to consider and to vote on is application 26, Urban Farm of UFO Palm Springs, Urban Farm with micro composting. Any comments from commissioners with respect to that particular project?
So again, this is more of a question. I know we've touched on this at perhaps every meeting for the last few months. I am still unclear on what we can do in terms of grants for organizations that are not 501c3s. And I'm a bit confused because I have seen the city fund grant programs that businesses could apply for, like the facade improvement grant. I believe there were COVID grants. I just wanted to clarify, is it accurate that if something like this if this is not coming forward as a nonprofit, that this is something that we cannot fund with a grant?
I think the commission can fund them if they choose to. I don't think there's a requirement to fund only 501c3s or nonprofits, other nonprofits. So the commission can choose to recommend that. I just think historically, the commission has chosen not to do that.
Thank you. I think this is part of this has been a longer conversation. It is part of a bigger conversation. I think, as an oversight commission, of course, it's a lot easier for us to grant nonprofits. And we have to do, a lot more of, research and due diligence. There has to be a lot more oversight if there is granting to a private for-profit organization. But I have to say, I really like this project. I think that there's a lot of great potential here. Again, I think that this fits in with a lot of our current climate goals. And I think in general, we're kind of cutting ourselves off at the knees if we only restrict ourselves to funding nonprofits. I think that there are ways in which, it's from an infrastructure, from a built environment quality of life perspective, there can be a lot of scenarios where granting to a business can benefit the larger community. I mean, we have so many vacant properties, right? And I know that that's something that we have a lot of blight issues, and I know that a lot of those buildings just have really, expensive problems. Like, just an example, this is just purely hypothetical. The Margaritas building near Caballeros, that was a really great restaurant, and it closed unfortunately, and it sat vacant for many years. My understanding is that there are really substantial issues with the roof that would make it just like too expensive for anyone to move in there, so it just sits there. I think that it would benefit the overall community if someone did come to us for a grant. Again, just purely hypothetical. So that's all I had to say about that. I did decide I won't take more time, but I do think that this is a good project, and I would like, in general, for us to continue this conversation about our approach to funding grants for nonprofits and private organizations.
Thank you, Commissioner Wolfer. I think that your comments point out how difficult it was for the commissioners to make decisions concerning all of these applications, many of which had great merit, but either fell outside the guidelines that we thought we had, or simply did not quite reach the level that we thought the applications that we decided to recommend funding reached. So I do want to say that a lot of these were very, very close calls, I know, for many of us. So thank you for your comment. So with respect to that project, 26, I guess it is, with that application, can you do a roll call?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Not fun.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next project to consider is the Racket Club undergrounding in the Racket Club Estates neighborhood. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that project? If not, could you do a roll call vote, please, Melissa?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
No.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not. The next project is project 30. Sunrise Park branding, signage program, and perimeter landscaping. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that application?
I would like to speak to that if it is the right meeting that I attended with the man who had all of the signage in the park. And it was really, really well done. Everything matched, it told you where to go, same colors. I'm not sure if this is the same individual that was a meeting from the city that we attended.
I believe that was the same.
Was it the same? Don't know. I'm sorry to see that go because it maybe because of the library situation right now, that kind of stuff should be on hold until we're really done with the library, then to go in and really sign it and make it gorgeous and coherent across the board. That could be why there's a little hesitation, I would say. But it's a beautiful work in my opinion.
Any other commissioners have comments? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund now.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next item, application for us to consider is application 32. Desert Art Shredding and Recycling Program. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that application? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next application where the majority of commissioners recommended do not fund is application 34. Ramon Road Sidewalk Extension. Commissioners, any comments? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next item to consider, and on which I will make a motion, is application 35, Old Palmas Utility Undergrounding. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that application? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. The next item is application 38. That's Palm Springs Theater Ticket Booth. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to that? If not, Melissa, can you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Fund.
Commissioner Sipkins, sorry, Chair Sipkins.
All right, do not fund. What was the total vote on that?
It was 6-2.
Okay. So that did pass. Thank you. The next is application 41. That's the Canyon Estates Street resurfacing.
And he's gonna,
And Commissioner Isaac will leave the room because he has recused himself from that. And we promise to ask you back as soon as we vote. All right. Do any commissioners have any comments with respect to the Canyon Estates street resurfacing? And again, to be clear, Joel, that is a project that would come up normally with respect to your system that you use to grade streets, is that correct?
That is correct.
Any commissioners have any comments with respect to applications 40? If not, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins.
Do not fund. Application 44, Measure J and work, bringing in tax dollars and zero harmful pollution. Oh, that could bring him back, sorry. Don't tell him I forgot about it. We wouldn't proceed without you. So. All right, the next item is application 44, measured day of work, bringing in tax dollars and zero harmful pollution. Do any commissioners have comments with respect to that project? If not, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor, Commissioner Isaac,
Do not.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not fund. We are to 49, is that the next one?
yes,
Revitalization of public spaces in Old Las Palmas.
yes.
Any commissioners have any comments with respect to that application? If not,
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
do not fund. And then finally, application 51, cultural exploration. Any of the commissioners have comments with respect to that project? That application? If not, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Cavaderos,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Fedor,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Isaac,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Schoen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Thigpen,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Wolfer,
Do not fund.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Do not fund.
Chair Sipkins,
Do not fund. I believe, Melissa, that takes care of all of the voting that we need to do with respect to the projects to the majority. Of
It does.
commissioners recommended not to fund the application, is that correct?
yes.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 8C on the agenda. The meeting that we're going to be having on February, hopefully on February 20th, is going to be a meeting where we will be discussing and voting on whether to fund the applications, the 14 applications that I referred to earlier in the meeting. And we will be deciding on how much to recommend be funded on each of those applications. I can warn the commissioners in advance that Chris and I have totaled up the amount that we have recommended. We say that differently. We have looked at the application for the commissioners have voted as a majority, recommended as a majority that we fund, and it exceeds the $6 million figure, which is how much is in our budget for applications that we want to grant or recommend granting. And as a result, at the meeting in February, we will not only be discussing whether to recommend funding those 14, but also how much to recommend funding, because we want to get the number within the $6 million that we have budgeted. So I just want everybody to know that that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about at the meeting in February. I also thought that it would be a good time if any of the commissioners wanted or want to suggest inviting applicants to make an appearance. One of the things that we had talked about months ago, I believe, and Mr. Miller can perhaps correct me if I'm wrong, was that we might want to invite applicants to come in who have not made public appearances and explain things. And so I will be open to hearing from other commissioners through the Palm Springs email service that we have about people that you think we should be inviting, if any, to come to our meeting in February. And with that, let's turn to item 8D, which is Chris's update on the budget. Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you, Chair Simpkins, and I've got about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm gonna use it all. I haven't gone through this in detail, just trying to give the commission time for the community initiative project discussion, so I'm gonna try to do that tonight within my time. So I'm gonna ask you to flip around a little bit, if you could get to the budget update and the associated pages behind it. I'm gonna ask you to sort of flip around a little bit so I can have everybody sort of understand the numbers, because I haven't gone through them in a while. So we will look at the summary page, and before I go through the numbers in detail, I want to point out a couple of things that might help you read these statements. So I want to, at the very first page, the summary page, in the gray column, if you go down to total expenditures, which is the 8,576,64. Does everybody see that number? Okay, if you flip to page number 2, the sheet, and if you go all the way over to the second to the last column, FY 24-25 expenditures, the total on that is 8,576,64. So while the first page summarizes, yeah, let everybody get there. Then this second page is the detail behind all of the expenses on P&L on the front page. So I usually go over the summary, then we kind of look over and talk about expenditures, but this will give you where the money is going, what projects are moving forward, what projects are getting money spent on them, and where it's coming from. So I want to point that out because that'll help everybody sort of read these. Second of all, go back to the very first summary page. And if we look at the gray column and we look at that 4,175,997 number. Well, in the year prior, where it has the 31,423,034, the description of that number is called a carryover. And so the way, and the number above that, the 2.39 million for community initiated projects, that's also a carryover. So what happens is when we budget for capital projects, we usually budget them in their entirety in the year that they are approved. And so then what happens if there's any unused budget for a capital project, then we carry that budget over to the next year. It's an actual entry that we make and an actual budget adjustment that we make into our system. So if you were to add those two numbers together, they would equal 33,821,868. So if you flip to your second page and you look at the column that's headed balance 630,24, and you go down to the total of that balance, that equals 33,821,868. That is the amount of carryover or the amount of unused budget from prior approved projects. So you can kind of tie out the number to see where it is. Some of the projects haven't started yet, and we'll continue to carry those over until they get canceled or until they get started. And then you can kind of tell what projects are getting the dollars carried over. So those two things I think are important. The carryover sometimes is hard to understand. It usually happens in the government world and not in the private world. So if you come from a private background, company background, accountant, then you probably don't know what the carryover means, but that's what it means. Okay, so I'm going to go in and talk about the numbers. Does anybody have any general questions about what's on this summary P&L before we get started? Is there something that somebody doesn't quite get, and I'll try to explain it. Okay, we'll move forward. Okay, so going to the gray column, and we always start out with sales tax. And you see the sales tax through December, $6,039,843. Now I'm going to ask you to flip back to the very last page, which is a sales tax analysis. So I'll let everybody get there for a minute. If you look at the 2025 column. So when I say sales tax through December, if you look at the very first column where it says cash received. So the cash received in December is from the sales tax that was generated in October. So there's always a 2-month lag before the city receives the cash. So So in this P and L, the $6,039,000, it's the first 4 months of 2025 that equal that number. I added in the January number because we got the numbers already, we just didn't have them in time for the P and L, and this is through December. What I want to point out here is year to date, now including the $1.5 million that we collected in January, we have about $7.6 million in total this year in 25. That's roughly what we had last year in 24. So when we talk about sales tax, we're flat, sort of flat to last year. There's some accounting things in there that we did this year that we didn't do last year. It's kind of skews the historical trend a little bit. So overall, in the Measure J fund, if you take in some of those accounting stuff, we're down about 2.5%, not bad. So if it's really hard to say this year about where we're going to end up because we're just not to the busy season yet, and it's very hard to forecast. But it appears right now, if this trend continues, we'll be very close to our budgeted number of the 21 point, I think it's 1 million. So just want to point that out again, very early in the year. So it's really hard to tell because we could make up that money if we have a lot of tourism traffic in the spring. Tourism traffic isn't as much as prior years. We might be a little more down, but right now it's pretty encouraging that we're flat to the prior year. Okay, we'll go back to the summary page. Yeah, go ahead.
If I can, Chris. So if we continue to run to our 2.5% decrease from last year, that would be roughly $400,000 of the Measure J budget. Is that correct?
Right. I will say, and this is the next line, so if we can go to the first page, the gray column, if you look at our interest income number of 658,733, we're already over our budget of 500,000, which means we continue to have a strong portfolio and strong returns that the city has. So it's highly possible that if we have any shortfall on the sales tax revenue, that we could make it up there and meet our overall revenue budget. Total revenue, 6.698 million. And I'm going to move down the line and just go to the summary page. So that's 16,768 on the expense side. If you recall, any sales tax that is collected by the city on aviation fuel has to be used for the airport. And that was an FAA rule that was instituted back in 2017-18. And so, and the FAA or the Airport Commission brought us some projects earlier, maybe it was last year. And it was approved by the commission, approved by this commission, and also approved by the council. And so now they're starting to spend some of that money. This project money, the 16,000, was used for water bottle installations at the airport. I think the big project that got approved that they're still working on is a shade structure over the ride share location outside the airport. And that's they're still kind of having some discussion within the commission on that. But if they decide to move forward, that'll be a big chunk of the money that we approved earlier for them. And then going down the line, the 81,367, I think I've mentioned this a couple times, but this is for the downtown maintenance, the landscaping downtown, and it's also for security personnel downtown. And when the 2-year budget was approved by the prior commission in 23, for fiscal year 24-25, that commission didn't think that this line item was in the spirit of Measure J. So they had elected to phase out the budget for this item. As you can see, it's 400,000 for this year. So in our 2-year budget, which we will be discussing later on in a few months, we will, unless this commission wants to do something different, we will no longer be funding any of that downtown maintenance or downtown security.
Chris, just refresh. That was really about paying the salaries. Was that not the gist of that conversation?
Yeah, it paid for the security personnel largely. There wasn't a whole lot of landscaping, but there was some landscaping done and a little bit of maintenance. I think the last maintenance item I saw that this funded was something that had to do with the elevator and the parking garage. But landscaping, but mostly a lot of security.
Salary. So does that mean this is going to be gone?
The general fund will have to absorb it. So it'll still happen, I'm sure, because we have contracts with these personnel companies, but
But
the
maybe
general
we will
fund will
not
absorb
be
it.
funding it. We will not be funding the salaries.
That's correct.
They're, Chris, are contractual salaries, though, right? They're
Yeah, correct,
benefited positions.
correct. Mhm.
Which department absorbed that?
It's probably gonna have to be community development. Going down 4.2 million for projects that were adopted in FY 24-25. Some of the carryover for capital will go into some detail. Was used 44.2 million, and then we have $75,000 spent this year for unused budget from prior years for the community initiated projects. So right now, we're seeing $8.5 million, 8.57 million in total expenses. We're running a deficit right now at 1.9 million. We'll probably do a little bit of catch up if we can meet our budget. And then we'll see how we fare at the end of the year. So that's the summary. We'll flip to page 2. And we'll look at some of these projects. And I think what we have time to do this. We got some late update. All right, and I don't say that we got updates that didn't make the P&L from Joel and he's laughing since it's late. They weren't late, I was out of town. So and Aaron from Public Works is back here too. So we'll go through some of the project numbers and I'll let Joel give his updates. So just looking at this, it's the usual suspects that have a lot of the dollars in here, you know, the main library renovation, that 100, and I'm looking at the second to the last column, FY 24-25 expenditures. The 199,251, that's the library, it's some of the design work for the library that's happening right now. And then one good news project is the 5th project down, it's 1916 in the very first column. It's called PD 911 CAD RMS. It's a big project. Measure J's funding that to the tune of 2.75 million. We've been trying to get them to move on that, and they are now. So they're putting some work into that. I think the RFP is either issued or getting issued. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay, but it's moving. So once an RFP gets issued and a bidder is selected, that probably takes 2 to 3 months. We'll start seeing more spending.
Are those for body cams?
No, they're not.
It's
I'll let Jason talk.
you look to the cop for that.
Yeah.
It's a computer aided dispatching and records management system. So when your dispatchers receive a call, they triage the call and enter it in the system, and then it kind of tells them who the closest units are, how many to send, and then the records management ties into it. So when a police officer writes a report, they're all going to the same system.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. So that's getting some traction, which is good. We're finishing up. I'm gonna talk about the project number that's in the first column. 1928, the recreational LED lighting. Joel will probably give an update on that. But the biggest amount of expense is down the list. It's about 4th up. It's the paving project. This is the streets maintenance project that Measure J supports that Joel runs. And we had some, carryover from last year. The total contract value, if you remember, was $9 million that the commission approved for that budget, and the total contract was about 8.9 million. I think there was some savings in there, but we used the rest of the money. I think that's all complete. It's about 4.175, so that's a big number. But that project I think is complete. I'll let Joel give the update. So I just want to highlight those projects. Does anybody have any, before Joel's gives status update? Does anybody have any questions on any of the projects?
I thought we weren't doing the roundabout.
The roundabout has been canceled. That's an update. I'll just let Joel give his updates because that might answer questions.
Yeah.
So the update's gonna be between Aaron and myself, because Aaron is in Public Works and they're taking, a lot of projects as well. So we'll just jump back and forth, who's responsible, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So I know that what you have before you is not updated, so it's kind of like, where are we at really? So I'm gonna try to go really quick down. So the main library, we're in design, we're really close to getting to 100% design. So that one's moving forward really well. The Victoria Ruth Hardy restrooms, I'll let Aaron answer that one.
We are expecting the final plans on those in the next couple of weeks. For the restroom.
And we'll be under construction shortly, right? So one of the things that one project is 1819. I do want to draw your attention to 1819. It's been the downtown safety bollard project. It's been on the books for a very long time. There was a first phase. Now the second phase.
1810.
Sorry, yeah, my eyes are starting to go 1810 downtown safety bollard. And I need glasses and I refuse, so. So there is a big push of what happened in Louisiana really prompted, a lot of departments here because we have a lot of festivals to get together and say, okay, well, how can we prevent that? Because we have a lot of festivals here in the city, and we want to start looking at how to really prevent tragic accidents such as those or things that were done intentionally. So PD, Public Works, the Parks and Rec, we all got together and we are going to, and I think Parks and Rec is going to lead it, or Public Works are going to purchase barricades, but they're not going to be permanent barricades. They're going to be movable barricades that you can then contain an area. We're going to look at the maximum footprint that we do in a parade or event. We're going to buy those features that will protect the optic, and then we're going to scale up or scale down. So that is coming back, and I think we're looking at about maybe a 1.2 or 2 million expenditure. I think something like that. And I think that's what we have funded or we have programmed already.
Yeah, we're looking at 1.2.
1.2.
Yeah.
Okay, so that project is going to go forward. It's taking on a different shape than what it was initially envisioned, but I think it's reactive to what's going on today.
Do you have some of those in the ground now?
We do have some in phase one. There was some bollards that were put in. They were supposed to be hydraulically lifting. They had some issues. They failed. So that project hasn't been resolved. There's issues with those, but we will eventually fix those as well. There's the downtown amphitheater. That's Parks and Rec, and then the next one is the one we just talked about. The keyless entry. I don't know, Aaron, if you can give an update on that one.
Yeah, I am working with the IT team on this one. They're primarily taking the lead, but we have actually begun this project and starting the fire station. So this will continue throughout the year.
Yeah, that's the fire station keyless entry, right?
It
All the
is,
fire
yeah.
stations, yeah.
Yeah, for badged access fire stations.
The next one down is 1924. That one's a Duluth Park project, and that really is combined with the bigger project where we're doing the dog parks, we're doing parking lot, pickleball's part of Duluth Park. So the ADA is combined with 2116, and that project is moving forward. It's under design. I think we're almost 100% design with certain portions of it. So pretty soon we'll start seeing some real movement in Duluth Park. Let me see the other ones. Aaron, I'll let you take over for life safety, emergency generators.
Those ones are still in scope development.
So 1925 and 26, are you?
Yeah, and then 1927 same. So no updates on those right now. 1928 will be the next one.
So the recreational LED light project, that one's 100% complete, except for one piece of equipment that we needed to order. It took months and months to get, so that's still coming in, but the project essentially is working right now. Let me see here's the update on 2003, the Palm Canyon roundabout. It is canceled. Sunrise Park HVAC, Aaron, you had 2004.
Yeah, I can speak to this one. Not much of an update outside of actually with 2004 as well as 1926. We are looking into those as sort of a larger project and analysis of HVAC and electrical citywide. So it's not that they're not started, but they're not specifically started in the scope on those projects. So more to come on those.
So 2116 is the Duluth Dog Park. That one's the design is 100% complete. So that one has the parking lot. It has, we're going to do a lot of. There's going to be a restroom that's included in the Duluth Park. So there's a lot of work going into that one. So it's combined with the Duluth ADA. So there's going to be a lot of work going down, and we're very close to bidding the pickleball courts as well. So work is going to start at Duluth Park. Let me see, relocate fire station number 1. That one was really turned over to the fire department. They were working to access or find a location, a parcel, and I think that's still happening. I know I'm not part of those negotiations or those conversations, but when that finally is settled, eventually we will start working on the land, the design, and moving that project forward. See the other ones for downtown maintenance. That one, I don't know what that one is.
Okay, that's just the maintenance and security and landscaping.
Right, and then we can turn to, we'll finish this page and then we'll go to the community initiated projects and we'll give you an update on those. Let's see, 2121, the pedestrian master plan. So we're working on two big projects, the lane reductions on Racket Club and in South Palm Canyon. We're looking at a whole streetscape, making it more pedestrian friendly, bike friendly, and doing lane reductions. Pickleball courts, like I was telling you earlier, we're getting ready to bid. We should be bidding by February 17th.
22-26 San Rafael turf conversion. I'm working with the sustainability department on conceptual design right now. I met with the architect about a week and a half ago, so early stages on that, but it is moving.
So our paving project is complete. As a matter of fact, we're actually going to council in February, February 13th, to approve the next paving project. So that's the $6.5 million that we have. We would have preferred 9 million, but we're going to settle for the 6 million. But that one, as soon as we finish one, we've just completed the slurry, and we're going to go back into the paving program. So our paving program is always ongoing. The Plaza Theater, our team is working, really well with that one. It's under construction. There's a lot of work going on inside the theater. I don't know, on the outside you don't see much, but on the inside it's completely gutted. They're really doing the retrofitting, the concrete is poured for all the new seats. So there's a lot of work going into the Plaza Theater.
Joel,
Yes.
what is the status of Louise Pantry? Do they take the whole thing out, or is it only the outside eating area that they're asking for? You know what, I'm in front of the theater.
No, I don't have a status on that.
You don't know.
I don't have a status for you. I know about the construction. I don't know the status of that issue.
Okay. What I saw is that they want, whomever wants to take the restaurant away, I believe. Or the outside dining, so there's a better entry.
So what I do know is that there's a requirement by the building official to have a clear path of travel for the theater, which conflicts with the diner that's there, the eatery on the outside. So those are issues that are being worked out, and I'm not generally involved with those conversations.
I'm surprised. I would think that's a historical building. Is it not? You don't know?
What was the question?
I would think the restaurant is part of the historical site.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I know the Plaza Theater itself is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the restaurant.
Okay.
So 1707 was completed. The other one doesn't show it, so that one's completed. It's going to come off the books. The downtown park project, that one for the most part was completed. They're still working on some mechanical issues. I think Public Works
This is for the splash pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are in final stages of analysis and design on repairing that. So more to come on that this year.
So we could turn to the community initiated projects from last time. Number 2 is the playground at Victoria Park.
That is complete. I can speak to the exercise equipment for Parks and Rec, even though they're not here. I know that the exercise equipment itself was installed, and they were working on the rubber surfacing. I'm not sure if that was complete this week or if it will be next week.
And the hiking trails.
No update on that one. That will be taken over by Parks and Rec.
So the shade structure as the animal shelter, that one's complete. The Dimute Dark Park upgrade to address immediate needs, that one's complete. The swim center locker room, that one is under design. Ultimately, we're going to close it as a community initiated project. It's just become a big capital project for the city. And then the Palm Canyon Theater is the last one.
Yeah, and this one has turned into a larger conversation, but we are in design with interactive design for this one. So more to come on this one as well.
So for the most part, the community initiated projects from last round are almost all done.
Can I ask about the Fry building and the library? Are you going to do them together at the
Yes.
same time?
Yes.
So both buildings will be closed and under renovation?
Yes.
Is that the plan?
Yes.
I keep getting in.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's one project.
Okay. Anybody want more? You got both.
I am happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Joel. Following up on Commissioner Butler's question. I think it would be helpful if we could have a representative, and that's former council member Roberts. Invite him to come to the February meeting to talk about exactly what the status of the Plaza Theater project is, and I know there are negotiations with the restaurant owner to try to figure out access to them. I think would be helpful. We did recommend providing a relatively large amount of funding for the Plaza Theater. I think the last year's commission.
Right.
I'd like to get an update if we could from a representative of Plaza, so let's find somebody to come in February if we can. And thank you, Joel, for your report. We've now reached the virtual end of the meeting.
I just had a quick question on the Plaza Theater. My understanding is they're starting to give tours of the construction, and if so, could something be arranged for the commission?
So what I understand of those tours, they're more fundraising, so they're donors that are contributing to the actual construction of the plaza that get to, look and so they're vetted through the Plaza Theater organization.
Well, as Commissioner
Yeah.
pointed out, this commission is a relatively large contributor, so maybe we could arrange for tours by commissioners if we so wanted to, so.
I would work to accommodate that.
Item, thank you for the update on the budget, everybody. Item number 9 on the agenda is public comment on non-agenda items. Any? No, all right. 10 is staff and commissioners items, and I know at least one of the commissioners, and perhaps more than one, have some comments they'd like to make at the end of the meeting tonight. So.
I do. I'll keep this brief because we are at time. I just have a little this is a concern with the process. But as you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, Chair Sipkins, the commission has solicited feedback from several commissions, and I just want to clarify that the feedback that we did receive on the public arts commissions, from the public arts project, did not come from the commission itself, and was rather the opinion of one commissioner, the chair, but still a single commissioner. And I really appreciate that he took the time to submit that feedback. However, I'm, as someone who's very familiar with this project, there was unfortunately some context and clarity seemed to be missing. And I would just like to think that moving forward, if we are going to invite feedback from a commission about a project, I think that all of our projects really deserve the time and the attention of the entire commission and support from city staff so that they can clarify, what should be in a Measure J application, what doesn't count as missing, and just, other, and again, just have many opinions in the mix, so that that's representative of the entire commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Any other commissioners wish to make comments? Commissioner Isaac.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did some investigating on one of the projects I will be talking about next month. And I talked to our chair about it, and he thought maybe I should make my comments tonight rather than wait till then, so you can all think about that. So it's about a G-Force, and folks out there that are G-Force attendees, let me tell you, I've come and I've looked, and it looks like one heck of a workout. I work out myself every day, and you do a great job as an instructor. So what I'm going to say has nothing to do with the quality of the work that you do. And I just want to make that very clear. For me, it's more about the numbers. So I observed the class 6 times in December and January. And I got a little confused because in the public comment, it says that the numbers can reach 50, even 100. And the times I went there, the numbers range from 18 to 29 attendees, on-site attendees. Okay, on-site, and that's very important because in the application submitted to us, it says that there can be 1,500 attendees. Well, there's many by Zoom, but the application doesn't state how many in person. So I thought, well, I'm gonna go look for myself. And so it's about in the numbers that I said. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as we take a look at this project because the number of attendees on site is less than 1/10% of the population of Palm Springs. And so for me, when we're looking at spending taxpayer dollars, I do have to keep that in mind in terms of the numbers and the benefits and to how many people it benefits. Believe me, I believe you all benefit using it. I can do that. I work out, like I said, every day, and I know the benefits. So my thought would be that we encourage you, or I encourage you, to take a look at that blue zone. Blue zone was really kind of, this is really in their range, in their ballpark. And use those grants, and that's something we ought to think about and so forth as we go forward. So I wanted to bring that up. I didn't want to bring up any surprises at the meeting, and I thank you, Chair, for suggesting that I do it tonight.
Of course, thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners wish to make comments?
Chair, just one. I just want to echo the comments of my colleague, because I have gone by also, because I think out of the enthusiasm from the speakers over these last several months, it's caused us to have enthusiasm with the project also. So I think maybe at the next meeting, if a presentation on numbers could be more clear, it would help solve some of the inner confusion that we have over these, because I didn't know you were doing the same thing, but I watched the Facebook. I've attempted to do some of the exercises unsuccessfully, but I walk my dog through there every day. So I have counted the same numbers similar to what you had. So just the amount of money in the numbers. We'll leave it at that, period.
Any other commissioners wish to make comments?
I have a question for Commissioners Isaac and Kravitz. Do you have a sense of how those numbers might compare to average use at our pickleball courts?
Would you say that again? I have one hearing aid that went out.
We've done similar observances with our pickleball courts, which we recently funded at, nearly 6 million. And if you have any sense of what those numbers look like in comparison?
No, I don't. I don't.
And my comment would be that it's been very chilly the last 2 months.
Thank you.
And as a result, there may not be as many people working out at the G4 site in the months of December and January as there will be in March and April. So
Or July.
Or July or August.
And I personally want to thank Commissioner Schoen for coming here and not having your baby during tonight.
I got just one comment on that. Next month, I will definitely not be here because it's within my time frame of being in the hospital. So I'll miss you next month, but I will keep you all posted on.
Thank you again for coming.
Sure.
And I will also not be able to come next month, so have to figure out how many people have that prior.
I think I'm really glad to hear people are visiting projects at this point. I have done that and was encouraged to do that by the regional member on Major Day. I think when you see what the people want, you see where they are, you have a talk with them, it's clear. I don't go back and manage the project, but I think to really go out, take a look, see what they're doing, because we are accountable for where that's going. And you become very clear the need or not the need, or what, thank you, that's what I'm gonna say. I think that's part of our responsibility, to pay a visit to these people who are asking for our money. Thank you, guys.
And I will echo that, I've visited several of the projects. Met with some of the people that were doing it, and it really added a lot more depth to the project and understanding to the project. And so I just would echo that I think it's important for us to take a look at what the project is and where it is.
Thank you, Commissioner Burris.
I also was concerned with just that it's being, the G-force was being used for 1 hour during the daytime. And I wondered whether they had reached out to offer classes at any other time. As someone who works, I can't go from 7:30 to 8:30. And so I was concerned about, like you said, the impact, how many people were actually using it and how they were soliciting other people to use it during other times and how that would be, space would be shared. And managed.
Any other commissioners have comments? If not, I want to thank staff for staying late tonight and thank the commissioners for still here. Thank you very much. We have a nice on February 20th. Thank you.